Good morning and welcome to Rising. We've got a great show for you today. It is, I've been confused what day it is all week, but I believe it's Tuesday.
It is Tuesday now, Robby.
How about that? Here we are on
We're on the ball here, for sure.
You know what happened? It's because I missed a day of working out last week, and so my schedule, I do the same 4 workouts, but we're one day off.
Yeah.
So I'm doing, Monday's workout on Tuesday. That's the mystery solved, ladies and gentlemen, right there.
Once you have a fixed schedule and you shift something in it by one day, it completely throws you off.
I'm a creature of habit, and I hate deviating from my schedule.
Well, there we go. At least I'm glad, because once it gets into Tuesday, I'm in the rhythm of doing Rising. It's when I go from Sunday to Monday that I'm struggling to get up.
That's the difficulty. Well, we're glad to have you for the week. Really having fun here.
Glad to be here. Coming up on Rising, Paramount has launched a hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. And apparently President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is part of it.
Plus, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett announced she's running for Senate, and I am delighted. Delighted, Niall. Delighted.
Good for you. And President Trump called an ABC reporter obnoxious yesterday. That's the latest in a string of incidents of him insulting female members of the press. But first, Robby, let's get started. What is on your radar?
Well, Niall, the debate is over whether it's permissible to destroy alleged narcoterrorists in the Caribbean without a formal declaration of war by Congress, and that has prompted some members of the tech community to make an even bolder statement about violent repeat criminals shouldn't just be killed, they should be publicly executed. So that idea was proposed on social media by Joe Lonsdale, a venture capitalist. He writes on X earlier this week, "If I'm in charge, later we won't just have a 3 strikes law, we will quickly try and hang men after 3 violent crimes. And yes, we will do it in public to deter others. Our society needs balance. It's time to bring back masculine leadership to protect our most vulnerable." He opined on this topic following an X thread in which TPUSA spokesperson Andrew Colvett asked for Secretary of War Pete Hegseth to blow up even more drug smuggling boats in the Caribbean, and Hegseth responded, "Your wish is our command, Andrew. Just sunk another narco boat." How rugged and masculine. Quillette editor Claire Lehman responded that it was grotesque to broadcast such bloodthirstiness, even if the strikes on the boats were ultimately necessary, which prompted Lonsdale to disagree, saying that sinking narco boats publicly helps deter others, as does hanging repeat violent criminals. Lonsdale then called for the public executions of even more criminals. Lehman pointed out that there are those on the left who think tech CEOs are themselves criminals due to their obscene wealth, and we ought not to create a precedent of violent revenge against our perceived enemies, to which Lonsdale and some other people said that she was missing his point. So this exchange caught my eye on X because I think the conversation could benefit from considering an additional point of view. Now look, many Americans are quite concerned about rising crime and disorder, as am I, and do want the government to do something about it. Republicans in particular benefit from the impression that Democrats fail to govern the states and cities they run, and that those municipalities coddle criminals and make life worse for citizens by refusing to make the tough choices. In that vein, one can see the appeal of the tech CEO's pitch. Don't just stop coddling criminals, but execute them in some horrific public fashion, sending a message to all other would-be lawbreakers. Well, it's a solution that fits in well with the tech CEO approach of discarding unhelpful customs and simply doing what works, supposedly. Move fast and break things. But here's an important fact. Trying to scare the criminals into not engaging in crimes actually doesn't work out so neatly. That's because it isn't severity of punishment, a public flogging, that disincentivizes criminals. According to the research on this subject, and it's very useful to peruse it, what actually works to disincentivize crime is certainty of punishment, not severity, certainty. And it makes sense if you think about it. Most of us aren't criminals, so maybe we can't get into the criminal mindset. Those who do resort to crime are a special class of risk-taking people. Think about inner city crime. The people who mug pedestrians or steal cars, they're seizing what they believe to be convenient opportunities. If you started publicly executing people for those crimes, you wouldn't actually stop people from committing them. Many carjackers would still take that risk, thinking, well, they're the guy who's too clever to get caught. That's how the human brain works. That's how gambling works. But if you bring the carjacking conviction rate to 100%, then research shows you actually would reduce the likelihood of someone engaging in this crime. The opportunity seems like it's no longer there to them. We can apply that lesson as well to the alleged drug boats in the Caribbean. We don't need to blow them all up and murder everybody on board. We need to interdict the drugs. That is the law enforcement role. But if we're simply killing them all, then what we're really talking about is warfare rather than law enforcement, and for that, we do in fact need congressional oversight. Don't take my word for it. Even Laura Loomer has been confused about what the administration is doing. Yes, I'm citing Laura Loomer positively. Yesterday, she posted on X, 8% of the drug supply into the U.S. comes from Venezuela, and it's not fentanyl. The fentanyl is actually coming from Mexico. Good point.
Yes, it is, and I always enjoy when you get your libertarian instincts to the fore here.
Public executions, Niall. What could go wrong? I know your bloodlust is cannot be easily.
Exactly,
defeated.
easily. No, more public executions. I find it so bizarre that these people are around, like Lonsdale, and regarded as people to be listened to, talking in these terms about masculine leadership being represented by like mass public hangings. Right. The idea, I mean, these people, I think, have a very insecure idea of masculinity for a start, that you need to go around hanging people and doing that sort of thing in general to prove that you're a real man. I think that's
law enforcement
nonsense.
Should be impersonal and dispassionate. It should be the system giving people what they deserve based on our rules. And again, there is a role to have more enforcement. And the social psychology research here, the public research, is very valuable, and it shows this over and over and over again. When the conviction rate is very high and the punishment, it should be swift as well. The system being mogged and you waiting years and years and years before your case actually gets handled, that's not so good. We want swiftness and certainty of punishment for rule breakers, for law breakers, and then that does actually have an effect on crime. Making it the punishment more grisly doesn't do anything, because the criminal mind, these people who engage in this behavior, have a warped sense of what they're able to get away with anyway.
Well, to that point about the swiftness, I mean, I just don't agree with the death penalty, period. But of course, one of the issues with those who purport to believe that the death penalty causes a deterrent is because we correctly don't want to execute people wrongly,
years and years and
it takes like decades. So that part is thwarted as well, just as a general matter. For example, states that have the death penalty typically have a higher murder rate than states that don't, and so the same principle applies internationally as it does domestically. And I just find Lonsdale, he's like co-founder of Palantir, friend of Elon Musk's. He was involved in that Barry Weiss University, and now coming out with this stuff about public hangings when I'm in charge. He's like some sort of AI-generated right-wing tech.
What about public hangings when you're not in charge?
Right. Well, exactly. And someone
what you'll get someday.
And someone did. Well, I think it was Claire Lehman. Made that point to him.
He then derides as a leftist. She's not a leftist at all. She's like a classical liberal, libertarian type, due process obsessed person like myself.
Yeah, and actually, not to get into the media too much, or the media element of it too much, but she's someone who has gone up in my esteem over the years. I thought that she was just a sort of reflexive right-winger.
When she was bashing woke, and then she was consistent about it.
Exactly. Now she's coming to a more normal.
This is another example of what I've said, or someone else said this, and I've just recycled this, or stolen this thought. I can't remember who said it first. Social media just being your intrusive thoughts. Like, we've all been very, well, maybe not you. You're such a calm man, Niall.
No.
I've been in an angry fight with you.
Sure.
Kill Niall. I could tear him apart limb from limb. That's like in my head, right? Yep. You don't need to share your intrusive.
More filters.
Yes.
More filters are good.
Just leave it internally. You don't have to put everything you've ever thought on social media and then wonder why you don't look so good.
Exactly. Self-restraint.
Next up, President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is apparently involved in Paramount's hostile takeover bid for Warner Brothers Discovery. We will talk about that next. We'll be right back.